Yesterday, as I was vacationing in the Maritimes, a massive blizzard hit the region. I saw something out in the storm, and it freaked me the fuck out. Even though it's now bright and sunny outside, I'm almost glad my flight home got cancelled, because at least now I can stay inside where it's safe. I'm afraid of what might be hiding out there in the snow drifts. I woke up fairly late last morning. The basement apartment I rented for the week was practically pitch black, so I was startled to see it was already 10 a.m. when I got around to check the time. No light was coming through the blinds and the windows, making it seem as though it was still night. When I flipped open the blinds, I saw a wall of snow fully concealing me from the outside world. Grabbing my coat, I climbed the squeaky and narrow staircase leading to the side door. I could hear wind furiously hissing through a crease in the wall. I had heard about the region's infamous storms, but nothing could have prepared me for what happened when I opened that door. I was assaulted by a violent breath of snowy air. It nearly knocked me back, but I managed to grab hold of the hand ramp. Snow continued to invade the corridor and dart painfully into my eyes, making it almost impossible to see the tall snowbank that had once been a rental car. It took all my strength to get the door shut. As I returned to the quiet safety of the basement, I told myself there was no fucking way I was going outside again until the storm subsided. I grabbed my laptop and checked out what people had to say on Twitter about the snowpocalypse. One helpful user posted a link to the city's traffic cameras, along with the single word, creepy. Reassured that I wasn't the only out-of-towner disturbed by the sheer amount of snow, I followed the link to see how bad Main Street looked. The screen was practically all white, though I could make out a few buildings when the snow died down a bit. Though I'd been around snow all my life, I had never witnessed a blizzard firsthand, and I felt a little excited to be part of it. It was then that I noticed something odd in the street. There seemed to be a man standing in the flurry of snow. Thinking nothing of it, I switched to the other traffic cameras, checked out the rest of the town, eventually grew bored and shut the laptop so I could get breakfast. A few hours passed, but I could still hear Mother Nature having a temper tantrum outside. Bored, I looked at the traffic cameras again. I couldn't believe my eyes when I switched to Main Street. That fucking guy was still there. Sure, some people enjoy the cold, but this was ridiculous. He'd been standing there for hours. I switched to Main Street's secondary camera, which gave me a view from the other side of the street, hoping to see a squad car nearby. Maybe the guy was a traffic cop. Nothing. Not a damn thing. The snow-coated street was empty, except for a single human standing front and center. He gave me the creeps. Had he really been standing there the whole time? I felt a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, as though I knew some weird shit was going down. Even though there could have been a perfectly logical explanation I was overlooking. Suddenly, the power went out, and I screamed like a kid. Using the laptop screen to light the way, I searched the apartment for a flashlight. Fortunately, the power came back on after about half an hour. By the time internet service was restored, another hour had gone by. I had only one thing in mind, finding out whether or not that scary motherfucker was still outside. I went straight for the traffic cam. Wouldn't you know it, he hadn't fucking moved. I could see him swaying back and forth calmly, as though completely unaffected by the chaos around him. Looking at him made me feel nervous, yet I could not avert my gaze. Due to the heavy snow, I could only make out his general male form and a brownish coat. The weirdest thing about him was that there didn't seem to be any accumulation of snow on or around him, which was quite a feat, considering everything else was coated in over 50 centimeters of snow. Just as I had had enough and was about to switch it off, someone else appeared in view. It was a woman wearing a long blue coat. She was walking down the street, one arm shielding her face from the elements, while the other stretched in front of her, as one would do in the dark, to avoid running into things. The man took a single step towards her. At that moment, a gust of wind obscured the scene in a snowdrift. Once it cleared away, the figures were standing side by side, swaying in unison. I jumped to my feet and power walked around the apartment, trying to jerk away the creepiness and goosebumps riding up my spine, while muttering, "Oh, hell no," a dozen few times beneath my breath. Over the course of the evening, I periodically checked out the live feed. The figures remained in the frame, but they started moving closer and closer towards the camera, until they were out of sight. I had to change angles to spot them off in the distance, towards a third figure, before losing sight of them completely. Maybe I'm freaking out over nothing, but shit, I'm really spooked. I feel like they're still standing out there somewhere, you know? Has anyone else seen weird people in traffic cams? I can't possibly be the only person who saw these guys. They were there for almost 12 hours. Either way, I'm stuck here until tomorrow, so I'm just going to stay inside, where it's safe. If you're in the Maritimes, I suggest you do too.